ye health security na chese education so eka ho eti owura Clementa Park ejinamu sada so na Professor Beyo ejinamu na prosini dada Honorable Tobusu ejinamu eti nampanimfo miensan no obia wo sector NDC amanyoko no eyi amane se onkasa emfamfa ho enti ni okasa fa pomuden ho Professor Beyo kasa fa pomuden ho Dr. Clementa Park kasa ede afadisuamu nsem ho na Honorable Tobusu ejinamu for security eti press conference no mo ye no mpanimfo miensan nyina NDC amanyoko no ne ewomu efa bambo ho ne ewomu efa pomuden ho ne ewomu fa adisua ho no ene ho nsem wo de betudwa e be fa ne live from the NDC headquarters eti enche ye de ani bekyerem ho no mo na ye wie a ya besen akobuno apoye mantem na why skills training ya akoso no over 10,000 youth ya omagentete ya enei wo pass out no so ye de akwakoto so Philipos Ibonsu omanhene Kwabna Sante na Dominic Siyebo a ewo buno apoye mantem enne wo Techiman enti ye kɔ hɔ no mu a ne ekoso bia no ye de be free ho live de abremo yemfa seda manyuma wota yachi amadwumade yetumi ede abremu a Adaroma Asanska University College for eta yachi ye ka Asanska University College no a wadwuma wode aba no wei eye school ya sa wodo ba no ekwa a wo ahotoso se wo ba ni nwie school no emechine fie nsa meda wo kase ne wo bedie ne wo benom da bi say ye Asanska University College of Design and Technology na ado be kura wo wie animdie a wo nya no ye kire no fashion design technology, digital media and communication design, product design entrepreneurship and so ye kire bi hono mo abusua niema ye kire ne doso enti se wo pe university a wodo ba no kono wo wie a wo meye tosom emma wo meye adesoa emma wo dinimdie nsa no adwuma na dwen wo di hwa ye bibia eya Sanska University College of Design and Technology ebia wo ye obatan awofo mo pese mo ne mpanimfo ede school na no etwetwe nkomo a wo supply abetumi ene watwetwe nkomo no eye 054 0124 400 054 012 4400 ofra ye beje so na nkomo twetwe bia no etumi akoso kama eba de hia se yenhia ne ye ka yetim enye chiwempo akwada mbe wie na hwi ni timu a abusua Asanska University for Efrosefa obano bra ye dwuma ye pesika gubotomu no etoda na wote se ye sekwantia kakra bi so wo ho wodboa wo ho na ye yi a abusua ye tie bi na to ahwemu a kwantia no nyeni nyina na ye bi ye musuo na emom se ye ka kire wo se dial *712# dial *712# na wo wie na akrade a ye to ewudi bia ye nkukuru sika bafu emma wo de enya de bone enye adebone ene ye frɛ ne sɛ wuti ye na wutomu a you are one of the luckiest. Why you one of the luckiest such as utia ye ye trakrade wo so de apatra kotomu utia ye wutumi enye bie abusua wo mpe we na apede enei se ye ka cho sakrade ni bi wo honom ne ye to a wo beto a wa hwe ye wunyamu da na mmom se ye ka cho se the luckiest no a abusua ne hia ne se wunya ticket no na me se wo dial *1702 wunya bose pe na do ho ahyemu a ne sa baako mienu ye ticket na waje baako ye ji ticket no waje mienu se ebere so ne bobbo na sa wodam se pe wusika wo we ne bafu na che se waje wade obia chinyejie bia ni ho bibia ni ho na nyame ya adomo a efiada ebe ya mpaye adwa multimedia adwumakoi Adom brands ye ka Adom brands a Asempa FM Adom FM ene Enhira FM ka ho ye nyina ya ka bom akam brands asem ena mekan ye kan enano maako free efiada kokosi da ye beto aba no na efiri fiade koso na aka 100 days pepepepepe ni akwa akoto aba 100 days no aka no ene ye beyi ne maako ye bekan ne maako ye kan ne maako ye kan day no eduru 99 ni amu ohu eduru 98 ni amu ohu kakra saa kosi se ye de ebewie etinyame ya domo a eda fiada ye bia no ewo multimedia adwumakuo mu ye hiansa wafidie no ebeda ha ye be mu ohu 100 days no ye bota ye si ye niso niema ye de egu akwam se ka cho se kokromoti power your election headquarters a eno a ene ye be hyase ne ye de ama wo kama ama niema atumi akoyie se sika manie mu a CBG4 efre wo se fa hu be hyem obi manu sika firo my Ghana mu a CBG money transfer mi emfa wono mo se ye de mane na ukoji a ye ntete so MoneyGram o se ye ria ye beje e de amount se ye transfer still beje Pay Angel ye beje e de amount branches no so de onim se 114 branches na CBG Ghana wo enti babia betwam babia befa bia no woni a na na Franco Trading Enterprise wonu boye chidom dendende eye CCTV cameras na Papa Franco ede aba CCTV cameras ne ye original nkasa na Papa Franco ede aba etuko adabraka danye ne Roxy Cinema edi animhwe no a danye ne Roxy Cinema di animhwe no a hono a na Franco Trading Enterprise wo Franco Trading Enterprise enye mobile phones nko na enye CCTV cameras nko ye ka smart TVs a ye wo types ni nyina bi ho from 32 to 100 inches ye wo bi washing machine so ye di bi aba abusia ma me fa unsia na yenko NDC amanyoko no atena ye medical dia to wanim se sectors miensa na nempanimfo miensa kasafa ho from the NDC manifesto ya mpanimfo editu dwa yenko Dr. Clement Apaka hyase ya chese chechire efa NDC amanyoko no manifesto adesua de no wode ho ensem tudwa eti yenko to aso emfri NDC wonumu headquarters eye NDC manifesto enene efri mu eba
regime. We will decentralize, we would decollateralize the GET fund and restore it to its original mandate of educational financing. We will continue our policy of establishing public universities in every region with focus on newly created regions. We will also improve subventions to public universities and ensure timely disbursements. In the secondary sector, the next NDC Mahama government would undertake the following. We will abolish the track system to restore a single-track academic calendar. We will embark on an emergency infrastructural drive to complete abandoned E-blocks and expand infrastructure in existing senior high schools as well as TVET institutions. We will provide a dedicated and sustainable funding source for quality secondary education by ring-fencing a percentage of our oil revenue for this specific purpose. We will also decentralize the procurement of food and other basic supplies, ensure timely food supplies, and improve the quality and quantity of food for our students in the secondary school system. We will continue our policy of provision of free tablets and laptops for senior high school students. We will review the computerized school selection and placement system to address the corruption in the school placement and make sure that students are placed based on merit. We also will reform secondary education curricula to integrate STEM, agriculture, vocational skill, digital literacy, civic education, design thinking, and life skills into secondary educational outcomes. We intend to expand science resource centers across the regions to support STEM and TVET education. We will recommend establishment of regional TVET centers of excellence integrated with fabrication and other state-of-the-art facilities to promote innovation and stimulate real work environments. We will prioritize, rebrand, and increase investment in TVET as a key anchor of economic transformation. We will implement a national apprenticeship program to generate self-employment through the provision of free technical and vocational training for young people in various crafts. In the area of childhood and basic education, the next NDC Mahama government will undertake the following. We will introduce the Bright Beginnings Initiative to revive and repurpose early childhood education for the well-being of Ghanaian children and facilitate seamless integration into continuous schooling and lifelong learning. We will initiate a policy to integrate early childhood education into basic education, supported by appropriate infrastructure. We will establish a department for early childhood development under the Ministry of Education with a special mandate to promote early childhood education. We will launch a Furniture for All initiative to address the acute deficit at the basic level in partnership with local carpentry and furniture industry partners and players. We will also significantly improve the people to textbook ratio through the provision of curriculum-based texts. And if I may add, today as we speak, we still do not have the full complement of textbooks in our schools. According to parliamentary records, only 65% of the required textbooks have been distributed so far. We also intend to embark on an aggressive infrastructural drive to address the increasing phenomena of schools under trees and rehabilitate dilapidated school buildings. Again, according to records available by education sector, civil society organizations like Africa Education Watch, we currently have in excess of 5,000 schools under trees. We also intend to initiate a Start Smart curriculum for greater integration of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, coding and digital literacy, and TVET into the basic school curriculum. Still in the basic sector, we plan to increase and ensure regular payments of capitation and feeding grants. And this is very significant. As we speak, government owes capitation grants in excess of 8 terms. This is the equivalent of almost 3 years. And it is the capitation grant that is used to run our public basic schools. This is why we say that public basic education in Ghana is free. So you can imagine how the head teachers have to struggle to mobilize resources, sometimes even take loans, and procure the services of carpenters, of masons, just to fix minor cracks in walls, fix broken down chairs, doors, and furniture. Because the capitation grant is not remitted tenuously, today you wouldn't hear public basic schools engage in cultural activities, neither will you hear them engage in sporting activities. This is a very, very important issue that ought to be addressed. And parents and Ghanaians alike should be glad and happy that the NDC has recognized this issue and is going to tackle it head on. We also intend to promote digital literacy at the basic level by providing computer facilities installed with digitized learning material and upgraded ICT laboratories. To enhance that this is able to function in the rural areas where the national grid is not yet present, we intend to promote solar energy as a primary energy source for school facilities. But of course, we cannot speak about education without speaking about the role of the teacher and the conditions of the teacher. In the area of teacher training and teacher welfare, the next NDC Mahama government will do the following. We will prioritize the timely promotion of teachers and ensure the availability of funds for their remuneration. We will institute the Teacher Dabre project to provide accommodation facilities for teachers within new school buildings. And this
particularly
is
for
very,
those
very
of us who come
important.
from rural
It's a game
areas.
changer.
We know one of the reasons why it is very difficult to deploy and get teachers to stay and teach in the rural
Particularly
community.
for those of us who come from rural areas, we know one of the reasons why it is very difficult to deploy and get teachers to stay and teach in the rural communities is because of the lack of accommodation. So this is a very, very important intervention. But the incoming John Mahama NDC government is even going to go a step further by introducing a special allowance of 20% of basic salary for teachers who accept postings to rural and underserved communities. We also intend to abolish the teacher licensure examination and integrate the licensure process into the final year examination of trainees whilst they are still in school. We will scrap the MPP's mandatory national service for teacher trainee graduates and restore the automatic employment of newly qualified teachers. We will partner with the teacher unions to initiate the government-assisted mortgage scheme to support teachers to own their own homes. We intend to initiate a scheme to assist teachers own vehicles of their own and of their choice by offering flexible duty payments and arrangements and government guarantees in partnership with teacher unions and the banking sector. We intend to establish a college of education in their front plains because we all know that in that enclave there is a challenge of acute professional teacher shortage. And to address this issue, it is the promise by the incoming John Dramani Mahama NDC government to establish a college of education in the Afram Plains. To conclude, the John Dramani Mahama that we know has a proven track record in the area of education and can be trusted to deliver on these and many other promises. He is a visionary and sincere leader that we know we can trust any day, anywhere, and anytime. I call on all of you at home, wherever you are watching us from, as long as you are a Ghanaian and you have a vote, the options and the choices are clear, like night and day. Vote for John Dramani Mahama to ensure that every Ghanaian child gets quality education. Help us to rescue and reset our education for our collective good. I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Education in the 2024 manifesto of the NDC is all about resetting education to improve outcomes. We want to improve the quality of education from the early childhood level through to the basic level to the secondary level all the way to the tertiary level. And you just heard Dr. Park summarize these far-reaching, well thought through policies of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC for you, because we prioritize education. We know that education is the bedrock of the development of every country, and that is why we have put before you these proposals. And it is our hope that through your esteemed platforms, the people of Ghana will get to know for us to engage on these policies in this campaign. Now, another equally important matter is the issue of health, because without health, we can't even enjoy education. So quality healthcare delivery is very important. Now, for the account stations here, I know you started thinking about how will you get them to give you summaries in the account language. Don't worry. Dr. Park may be MP for Bilsa South, but he speaks fluent Twi. Honorable Peter Tobu also speaks good Twi. I don't know about Professor Beyo. He also speaks Twi. So when they are done and we wrap it up, they will still be here to engage you so that you can get your sound bites. But at this stage, welcome to the microphone. A man who served as secretary to the Ghana Medical Association some time ago. Currently, he is the PC and inshallah the incoming member of parliament for the good. He is the PC and inshallah the incoming Member of Parliament for the good people of Lambusie, the Honorable Professor Titus Bayo, who addressed us on health.
Our communication officer, other comrades present, permit me to stand on the established protocols. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is my delight to present to you the health sector policies of the next NDC administration, led by the visionary leader, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, which is aimed at assuring that we have quality healthcare delivery to the people of Ghana. Currently, our health sector is bedeviled with serious human resource challenges, such as the mass exodus of our due mainly to poor economic mismanagement and the lack of hope in the future of this country. These highly experienced staff are leaving. Another issue is unemployed graduates from our various health training institutions and a quota system in the admission into these training institutions. Compounding the human resource challenges are sick hospitals with dilapidated buildings, obsolete equipment, and the entire hospital environment is demoralizing to very Excellent John Dramani Mahama believe that the health of the nation is the wealth. National health sector of healthcare financing, the national health insurance levy on cap national health. And for those who don't understand it, an act was passed in 2017 first to reduce how much government can disperse under the levies we all IA fund for them to have access to it. And we believe that uncapping will make a lot of difference. His Excellency and the NDC also proposed to establish the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund, which we call Mahama Cares, to support the cost of healthcare for persons with chronic conditions like hypertension, sickle cell, diabetes, heart diseases. Many of these fall into the category of conditions we call non-communicable diseases. And they are the leading burden of disease mortality in this country and the leading cause of morbidity and mortality. We don't understand morbidity. So, leading cause of sickness and leading cause of death in the country. To put it in lay terms for everybody to get it. We also propose a free primary care healthcare concept starting from the chief's compound all the way to the polyclinic level in the medium to long term, in the short to long medium term. One will ask, what is in the manifesto for the healthcare infrastructure? The next administration intends to expand the healthcare infrastructure to restore prompt employment and timely deployment of healthcare workers. If you don't understand that, I think a lot of us know that when people go to nursing school, employment was almost automatic. But let me inform you that graduates from the year 2020, 2021, 2022 are still at home of nurses, and 2023 has just joined, unemployed. And because we have about 100 and few days to election, they've opened the portal for only 2020 nursing graduates. All other cadre of healthcare workers, no information yet. Maybe in 20 nursing graduates. all other cadre of healthcare workers, no information yet. Maybe in November, they'll open another portal just to get votes for it. We intend to construct a 500-bed specialist hospital, children's hospital, and a fertility center in Accra. The next administration intends to refurbish the Kolebu Teaching Hospital as an additional ultra-modern quaternary specialist hospital. Currently, the only quaternary hospital we have is the UGM, making this pledge that will elevate Kolebu to that level. The next administration intends to refurbish the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital to meet the standards of an ultra-modern teaching hospital. The NDC administration will also expand the whole teaching hospital to provide comprehensive specialist services and establish a quaternary hospital in the Volta region to attract medical tourism from that enclave. Hospital in the Volta region. His Excellency envisions that a specialist and trauma hospital will be built in the OT region to respond to emergencies along the Eastern Corridor. You know we have the OT region at Winneba to respond to emergencies along the Eastern Corridor. And the Eastern Corridor roads are being worked on. To upgrade the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's Rich Hospital, to a full teaching hospital and link it to the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons for specialist training. And then we intend to upgrade the Navrongo War Memorial Hospital to facilitate the training of doctors, nurses, and other health. It would establish a modern dialysis center in the Upper East region to serve that catchment area. There is something of a dialysis happening there, but very minimal. We intend to build an ultramodern hospital in Boku, Yendi, and other towns based on needs assessment. What is in our 2024 manifesto for health workers, the human resource? The next administration is planning to establish a college of allied health sciences for postgraduate medical training, especially training for these cadre of health workers. We plan catchment area. There is something of a dialysis happening there, but very minimal. We intend to build an ultra-modern hospital in Boku, Yendi, and other towns based on needs assessment. What is in our 2024 manifesto for health workers, the human resource? The next administration is planning to establish a college of allied health sciences for postgraduate medical training, especially training for these cadre of health workers. We plan to introduce a degree and specialist training program for colleges of nursing to improve the skill of our nursing care to that level. In furtherance of that, we are providing scholarships, opportunities for nursing tutors, so that when we convert their schools to degree awarding institutions, they will have the caliber of teachers to offer that tutor services there. So they will be given scholarships to study PhD programs in preparation for that transformation. The next NDC administration plans to complete the establishment of additional campuses for the University of Health and Allied Science. Plans to complete the establishment of additional campuses for the University of Health and Allied Sciences at Keta and Bato. His Excellency's government from January 2025 plans to establish a medical school in the Brong Ahafo region, the former Brong Ahafo region, currently the Bunu East and Ahafo regions, and operationalize the Tsunami Teaching Hospital as a site for medical training. And for those who know how doctors are distributed in this country, when a medical school or a site of a medical school is open in any region, automatically you have a lot of specialist consultants gravitating there to improve service delivery, research, and teaching. This will help address the maldistribution of professionals in this country. We intend to introduce one of my favorite policies, the risk exposure insurance for healthcare workers, to provide financial protection and support in the event of injuries, illness that we encounter in the line of duty. And I can tell you, and colleagues doctors who are here will tell you, that when doctors, nurses, other healthcare workers fall ill in the line of their duty, sometimes we have to write to the presidency, they have to go on social media to raise funding just to manage conditions that they themselves have been taking care of other people and they cannot afford it. So this insurance, and it's none like what we saw during the COVID. We intend to provide affordable accommodation within the premises of health facilities and offer home ownership schemes. And this one, I know all the unions are excited about this because they are putting effort to acquire parcels of land in the various regions. I'm former General Secretary of the Medical Association. I know that we have done that, acquiring parcels of land for doctors in Ho, in Y, in other regions. How will they build? And the home financing scheme will come in handy there. And we intend to reward healthcare workers who accept postings to rural communities and underserved areas with decent 20% of their basic salary as an allowance. But in addition to that, a shorter service period for promotions and study leave if you accept to serve Ghanaians in those areas. So what is in our manifesto for herbal, traditional, and alternative medicine? The next administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama intend to mainstream research-backed herbal, traditional, and alternative medical practice in patient management at all levels in the country, so that we don't get one herbal drug that is managing every condition, and the doctors are scared to prescribe and patients are scared to take. We will have evidence-based practice in this area. For the pharmaceutical sector, we intend to support the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana with incentives to make Ghana a pharma hub. Also, for the human resource bit, we intend to reintroduce the vehicle tax waiver for healthcare professionals that is well regulated, because this was a very useful thing that was available for doctors and other healthcare workers. It was abused. The government changed it into a revolving fund. It was not sustained, and now the plan is to reintroduce it and regulate it very, very well. So, being that these are highlights of the manifesto, I'll proceed to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, and I will ask in conclusion, that can we trust that these policies will be implemented to promote quality healthcare delivery? Yes. Yes. And I say a confident yes. Why is it yes? The messenger is credible and trustworthy. Yeah. The NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama have the track record in the health sector. To us, the doctors and nurses, our first ever codified conditions of service document was delivered in 2015 and 2016 respectively by the government of the NDC. And we are forever grateful. To the patients and the healthcare seeking public, the record is there. The University of Ghana Medical Center, the Dodua Ultramodern Hospital, the Bank Hospital, the International Maritime Hospital, and the thousands of CHIPS compounds dotted across the countries, built by slashed salaries of appointees of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, are testimonies to us that we can trust that this man can do what he is saying. I therefore invite you, citizens of Ghana, to opt for the NDC's superior policy proposal and sign the social contract with us on the 7th of this January 2025. The credible and incorruptible pair of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman present the safest pair of hands to entrust the future of our healthcare to. Ladies and gentlemen, Mahama cares, and he will reset Ghana into a healthy country and put us on the path to shared prosperity and growth. Thank you.
Health policies and programs contained in our 2024 manifesto. He started with what we will do about health financing, what we'll do with the NHIL, free primary health care, and from there he came down to what we will do about health infrastructure. From there he spoke about what we will do for health professionals to boost morale and to have a health sector that works and that delivers quality outcomes. So another round of applause for Professor Titus Bayo, NDC parliamentary candidate for the Lambusie constituency. Now, ladies and gentlemen, education is important, and we've spoken about our policies on education. Health is very important, and we've spoken about health. But without security, you can't enjoy the health facilities, infrastructure, policies and programs we have just discussed. Without security, education will be meaningless. And so at this stage, we want to talk to you about the policies and programs we have in our manifesto in the area of security. This is important because at the manifesto launch, time did not allow His Excellency to be doing 15 minutes, but because this man is a but before he comes up, a round of applause for Mr. Kwame Alumni. So, Tobu is a member of Parliament. A round of applause for Mr. Kwame Alumni. So, Tobu is a member of Parliament. A round of applause for Mr. Kwame Alumni. So, thank you very much, the National Communication Officer of the Great National Democratic Congress. I'm going to surprise you a little. Sitting behind me, where he just stepped out, is my primary school teacher, Honorable Emmanuel Zimakwe. Yes. I want to also welcome all my other colleagues, spokespersons, and everybody who is in this room, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am sure as you sit, you feel very comfortable because you are the National Democratic Congress headquarters, where security is tight. Just look to your left or to your right, and you realize that probably the person sitting close to you, you don't even know the person. But you are very comfortable in the room because the party that is coming to power has arranged this presence for you, and you are here very comfortable. We cannot have development without security. Extremely fragile security threats to earn the respect of the civilian. My journey with the taxi driver, a very short story. Last Sunday, most of the times, I pick a taxi cab for 25 minutes. Just look at what is happening in town. A conversation. 10:30 p.m. How do you feel related to the security situation in the country? I had a 25-minute lecture from the taxi driver on the security situation in Ghana, the layman's perspective. And all he said was, my brother, if somebody threatens to kill you in Ghana now, if you know of any pastor, any elder, any influential person who will go and beg for the person to forgive you, go get them to go and beg for you. And I said, why? And he's continued. There are a lot of examples that I can give to justify this statement. Soldiers are killed. Some are injured by civilians. Police officers are attacked, beaten, and killed. MPs are not safe. Journalists are not spared. Bankers are killed. Watchmen are killed serially. And he was referring to what is happening in Wa and recently in the Savannah region. Above all, voters are killed during democratic elections. And what is more hurting is the fact that after all this, nobody is arrested, the crime is not detected, and all of us continue to live in fear. He continued, do you know that youth unemployment is the greatest security threat to our nation? Do you also know that the rising cost of living is actually pushing this country to the edge of the cliff? I got to my destination, ladies and gentlemen, and I assured him, your frustrations are dealt with completely by the next NDC administration that is coming, effective 7th of January 2025. After paying an amount of 70 Ghana cedis and making him to know that President John Dramani Mahama is coming back, he held the money in his hands, and I could see from his eyes, he wished he could give that money back to me because he can see hope, and he actually saw hope through me. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers from the media, the only real security that a person will have in this world is a result of knowledge, experience, and ability. It is thus a truism that the only real security that a nation can have is a result of knowledge, experience, and ability of the man who is in charge, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the chairman of the National Security Council, and for that matter, His Excellency, the President of the Republic. Comparing the two leading candidates in these 2024 elections, President John Dramani Mahama and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, both of them happen to be my elder brothers. And I can tell you, I know them well. And I won't mince words. President John Dramani Mahama is miles ahead of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the area of integrity, in the area of knowledge, in the area of experience. What is the next NDC government coming to do? Effective 7th January 2025. And I think the president made it very clear that within 14 days, his cabinet will be in place. That is a very serious-minded person. One, with the military, and I know they are watching me, and they are excited that I'm speaking, because you know what I know, and you know what we can do. Anytime the NDC is in power, men and women in uniform, I can tell you, are always excited, because morale is always very high. We are going to construct housing units and refurbish dilapidated and abandoned housing units across the country. We are going to establish the Armed Forces Home Ownership Scheme for all personnel and officers. We are going to review and adjust salaries and allowances of troops and defense civilian staff to align with changing realities. We will complete and equip the Kumasi Military Hospital at Afari in the Central Command. We will initiate the construction of military hospitals in Ho, Bolgatanga, and Sepirioso. We will establish the Veterans Referral Department in the military hospital across the country. This excites me. Our men and women in uniform, when they retire, we should continue to revere them. Why will a retired officer go to a hospital and go and join a queue? We should have a specialized department to give them that special attention that they desire. Having served the nation sometimes 20 years, some of them 30 years, and some of them even more. We will ensure transparency in the selection process for peace support operations. We will expand and equip the Field Engineers Corps to undertake national emergency projects, road construction, and be licensed to undertake commercial ventures of the government. For the other security agencies, in no particular order, I just pick some of the policies that I want to highlight for them to understand that the NDC is so comprehensive, thinking about what we can do to reset the security sector. We will develop a comprehensive security and safety program to support the implementation of one of the most famous, if not the famous, or the star program or policy of the NDC government come 1st January 2025, the 24-hour economy policy. We're going to recruit 25,000 officers, 25,000 men to add to the existing strength so that we have the capacity to police the policy of the 24-hour economy. We will ensure merit-based, transparent, and decentralized recruitment and promotions in all security agencies in line with the HR gap analysis. I'm sure you heard recently that they wanted to do a recruitment for 11,000 people, and the story cannot be told in this room. But when we come, we are going to decentralize the process and make sure that it is transparent, equal access to equal opportunities. Expand the implementation of community-based crime prevention programs focusing on high crime areas by enhancing police presence and patrols in neighborhoods and public spaces. I'm sure in 2014, 2015, under the regime of one Inspector General of Police that was called Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan, that was the first time Ghanaians heard of police visibility, and people were excited. You close from work and you are going home in the night, get to your junction and you find a police officer standing there. What is the problem? I'm just here to ensure that you are safe. And people were excited. We are going to make that program better. Enhance border security and cooperation with international partners to combat terrorism, terror financing, and fight against foreign terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, we will introduce a nationwide community policing program that is instructive, and I can tell you it's a game changer, very particularly for internal security. We will invest in ICT infrastructure, training, modern equipment, mobility, and other logistics to support intelligence gathering and enhance national safety. Recently, we could hear of the Alpha project that there were cameras all around, and even there was a promise that every police station was going to have a camera installed.